og finansieret af de amerikanske sundhedsmyndigheder og CIA.
These horrifying scenes are from a documentary released in December of last year, which reveals how children were subjected to secret mind control experiments supported by the CIA in the 1960s. The victims' memories were forcibly erased, leaving them to forget their names. Their personalities were irrevocably altered. They faced threats to their lives, living in fear for the remainder of their days. Welcome to Inside Talk. Shockingly, what took place in this Danish documentary was just the tip of the iceberg of CIA mind control projects. Ruthless and inhumane techniques were clandestinely but truly used on humans by the US and its notorious spy agency in the 1950s and 1960s. The CIA started a project called MKUltra on April 13, 1953. The project lasted 20 years and extended to other countries like Canada. So far, there are still survivors and the families of survivors who want to disclose the truth and seek justice.
My father had what's called trigeminal neuralgia, and they believed at the time that it was psychosomatic. So they sent him to a psychiatrist. The doctor that he went to see was working with Dr. Cameron on this program in the hospital, which we didn't know. And he put my father into the program. Well, what they did was, as soon as he was put in the hospital, they immediately put him on insulin, which my father was not a diabetic, so we don't really know. I know that the insulin puts them in a coma. It was part of the sleep treatment where they put him to sleep, and after he was interviewed by the psychiatrist, they would take clips of some of the things he said and run them on a tape 24/7 under his pillow. So it would be going around and around and around in his head, brainwashing him basically. But what they would do is they would give him shock treatments, but not the regular shock treatments they give today. These are called Page Russells. It was a machine invented by a Mr. Page and a Mr. Russell, and it was about 75 times the strength of a regular shock treatment. It was designed to wipe out the brain. And the tape was to replace it with different thoughts. So I don't really know what they were trying to do, but I know in my father's case, they said they had written notes like, this is as far as we can take him, or we have to put him back in because he still has ties to his former life.
I remember one time I had been given electric shock treatments to the point that when I was returned to whatever room I was in whatever facility that I was in, that when I regained a little bit of consciousness, I heard one of the hospital staff say something to the effect of, why do they do this to her? Why are they giving her so many shock treatments? What made me think it had to be extreme. Like I said, the electric shock treatments, the verbiage, someone literally telling me, like Poindexter, which makes me realize that part of what happened to me was political. Because of my heritage that I know I had some relatives in the Middle East.
What is the biggest impact on you and your family?
Well, I think that we started off as a very happy family, with a father who was always busy, building a skating rink in the backyard and taking us to the ice rink in the park across the street and, just taking us to the amusement park every now and then. He was just always busy with us. He would have season's tickets for hockey games with my brother and football league for my brother in the summer, and all that, everything ended when he came back from the hospital. He came back very angry, physically violent, just our house. Like, I asked my brother what was it like to grow up in our house, and he said empty. So that was a very big switch from what it was before he went. Because we had a very good family life until that happened.
It's horrifying emotionally or psychologically to realize that I don't know my birth name. I don't know. I know I had at least 3 children, and I don't. One of my daughters passed from what somebody has told me, but I haven't seen my children. God, 30 or more years, I have not seen any of my children. So physically, you remain, I think, physically drained, because there's something that drains your spirit when you know that you cannot practice the professions for which you were educated. You cannot keep a conversation with anyone regarding your situation, because everyone that is allowed in your life goes along with the lie, either out of total indifference or complacency, or because they feel an allegiance to the government, that they have to continue this lie.
I have, it's funny, we have a website and we've done things so people have seen and, what we're doing. I get so many emails from people who say they're being experimented on. And I guess today there's different ways of mind control that are a lot more progressive than what they did in the past. It's hard to know, but I wouldn't be at all surprised. The governments are governments. I mean, I don't think all that much has changed. I think our world has become all about power and control. So do I think there's that going on? Sure. But not anything like the primitive way they tried in the 50s.
If there were more that could be done to bring this to the forefront of the globe, globally, because it's essential. It's essential for the healing of the victims, and it's essential, whether or not people realize it, for the government itself. I know after apartheid, they had a reconciliation council. We don't have anything like that, be it MKUltra, be it slavery, be it the genocide of the Native Americans. And in order for the individuals and the country to heal, there needs to be acknowledgement, there needs to be apologies, there needs to be compensation, and there needs to be a genuine reconciliation.
Within a couple of months, in Dallas and Texas in the United States, patients started telling me about when they were kids, they were taken to military bases, lab locations, experiments were done on them, and altered personalities were created by the experimenters. The problem for me is the medical ethics. So you have to violate the Hippocratic Oath, and you have to create psychiatric disorder on purpose, which is completely opposite of the purpose of psychiatry. And the patient, the subject, doesn't give informed consent. They don't have legal representation. So it completely violates all medical ethics.
How abusive were these mind control experiments to human nature?
Well, very abusive, because just like the interrogations that we see a little bit of in the public at Guantanamo Bay, Abu Ghraib, other locations, they're very frightening. They certainly cause post-traumatic stress disorder. They destroy, the idea is to destroy your ability to resist interrogation, to alienate you from your culture, alienate you from your friends and family. So it's very destructive.
В 1973 году, когда начался там скандал, и стало понятно, что ЦРУ может попасть в неприятную ситуацию, они уничтожили часть документов. Просто уничтожили часть документов по операции МКУлtra. Но оказалось, что не все. И вот часть этих документов, она была потом раскрыта. Это вред здоровью был огромный нанесен этими экспериментами. Начались у людей неврозы, депрессии, разные заболевания. Да, нарушение прав человека. Но я бы хотел обратить внимание ваше, что почему-то все журналисты интересуются только экспериментами МКУлtra. Но обратите внимание, Билл Клинтон и Барак Обама, они извинялись по поводу совсем других экспериментов, еще более тяжелых для здоровья. То есть мы видим, что никакой реальной демократии нигде в западных странах нет. Раз даже президенты и премьер-министры Америки и Англии вынуждены извиняться без конца. И они извиняются и дальше будут извиняться, потому что дальше мы тоже узнаем много других фактов и так далее.
Most of the MKUltra experiments were conducted in Fort Detrick. It was a biolab where dangerous infectious viruses were stored. A leak was recorded in 2019, right before the COVID-19 pandemic. There is much speculation, but little is known about US biolabs. The international community has no idea what the US 336 overseas biolabs and the ones on its soil like Fort Detrick do. It is time to break the US wall of silence around its biolabs.